Hi, this is Daniel from the Ultimate Guitar Academy, and I'm going to teach you how to play the 12-bar blues. Now, a really common misconception amongst guitarists is what the 12-bar blues is. Many people think that it's a riff or chord or something like that you play. For example, I've met a lot of people who tell me this is the 12-bar blues, but something like this couldn't be. This, of course, is not the truth. The 12-bar blues is a chord progression that we put on the guitar or any other instrument. It doesn't really matter how it's played, as long as what we play follows the chord progression, it will be the 12-bar blues. So then, what is the 12-bar blues chord progression? Well, it's simply chord 1 for 4 bars, chord 4 for 2 bars, back to chord 1 for another 2 bars, then we get a bar of chord 5, a bar of chord 4, a bar of chord 1, and then the final bar is optional between chord 1 and chord 5. If we play chord 5 there, we call that a turnaround because it actually turns the song around, leading it back into the start again. So let's apply this chord progression to the key of G. In the key of G, chord 1 will be a G, chord 4 is a C, and chord 5 is a D. From there, it's simple substitution, putting each chord in the right place. Let me play it for you in the key of G. Now, of course, that was using basic open chords, but you can, however, use any dominant chord. If you're not familiar with many of the dominant chords, I recommend starting off with the 7th chords because they're quite easy. All you need to do is make an F bar chord shape, move it to 3rd fret, which turns it into G, and then take that pinky finger off. If you're unfamiliar with the F bar chord, I highly recommend looking through our other video lessons and learning how to play that before giving this a try. So once we have our bar chord shape for a 7th, all I need to know is at 3rd fret it is a G, 8th fret it will be C, and 10th fret it will be D. Let me play the 12-bar blues with that shape. Now make sure you keep in mind what I said earlier about the 12-bar blues being a chord progression and not a riff. What I'm going to do now is play the exact same chord progression in the exact same key, but not using the bar chord or 7th chords, but using power chords and a little riff that goes well with those. As you can see, it doesn't have the exact same sound, but the chord progression is identical. All I was doing there is taking a power chord and adding the 6th note of that power chord, which on your shape, here's your 5th, is 2 frets in front. So if I'm playing a G power chord, I've got frets 3 and 5, 3 on the low E, 5 on the A. If I take that A string, which was 5th, and turn it into 7th fret, that is the 6th note away. When I play that together, that's the addition that I was making. In order to do that, I'm using my index and middle fingers for the original power chord shape, and then my pinky reaches out to the 7th fret. Some people find this easier with the ring finger for that 5th fret, so you've got your index and ring like a normal power chord, and then your pinky reaches. I've always found that kind of more awkward than using my middle finger. So that's how I prefer to play it. Simply apply that pattern for all the chords that we have. So 3rd fret will be G, take it up to 8th fret for C, and then eventually you're going to come to 10th fret for D. It's the exact same pattern, just changed from G to C to D. That's all there is in a 12-bar blues. However, I mentioned earlier I can turn the last bar, bar number 12, into chord 5. This will be a turnaround. I'm going to play the same riff, this time going to chord 5 at the end, which gives us the turnaround. Now that's the basic 12-bar blues chord progression. There are a ton of other changes that we can make to that, which will make it more interesting, yet more complicated. So I'm going to save those for another video and keep things nice and basic for today. Remember that in order to apply this chord progression to different keys, you do have to have a half-decent understanding of those key signatures and how they work. If you just need a rough guide to get you by for now, you can simply count through the notes of the alphabet to find notes 1, 4, and 5. For example, if I'm in the key of C, I'm going to get C as note 1, D, E, F will be note 4, G will be note 5. They will be my 1, 4, 5. It doesn't always stay this simple, unfortunately, because we have sharps and flats in our keys, so be wary of that. A really good guitarist trick that's specific to guitar for finding the notes for this 12-bar blues chord progression is if you look at your power chord. Now we should all know the power chord. It's one finger on a string, for example the low E string, and the other finger goes 2 frets forward, 1 string below. That's our power chord. I'll keep it in the key of G, which is 3rd fret. And from here, the note that my index finger is on is our tonic, that's G. The other finger is the 5th. So if I'm in G, here's my G, and I'm looking for the 5th note away, it's right there, which means I just move my power chord to start on that note, and now it's the 5th. In this case, that's going to be a D. If I'm looking for the 4th, from my tonic, which was back here, 3rd on the low E, I simply move it down a string. When I move it down a string, it becomes the 4th, in this case C. So wherever I am on the guitar, I have chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. I'll move that around for you, I'll play them out loud. I'll move it to the key of A. Here's A. Chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. I'll move it to the key of E. Chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. Doesn't matter where I move that, as long as I don't go near the B string, because when you mix the B string, things tend to go a little bit haywire. That's got to do with how when we tune, things get offset by 1 fret. Well, that's a very quick lesson on the 12-bar blues. I hope that helps you play it. If you found it useful, please feel free to share this on Facebook and amongst your fellow guitarist friends. You can also reach us at ultimateguitaracademy.com.au if you have any questions or comments regarding this video or the 12-bar blues. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep shredding.